What is vibin? This is Vish, and today I'm going to be reacting to Sadhguru's video on how to stop the mind's chatter. I've been watching Sadhguru for the past 2 years, and he's been a really awesome spiritual teacher that I've learned so many things from. And with that, let's get straight onto the video and react and respond to what he has to say.
Sadhguru, I wanted to know that still we feel that mind chattery, which always bothers us, and our thought always shifts back to past and future imaginations, which will not be any of output. How to get rid?
First off, before I even continue with the video, I have to say his outfit is super on point. I mean, just from head to toe, the scarf, the whatever you call it, what he's wearing is really colorful and vibrant. So yeah, with that, let's continue.
Rid of it.
A whole lot of thought about this thoughtlessness.
Okay, so before I even look at what he has to say, it's a great question. I mean, how do you stop the mind's chatter? I'm sure it's something that you all can relate to on a daily basis. It's very natural to have the mind just talking without you wanting to talk, and it really comes down to being unconscious most of the time. And I can definitely relate to that. I mean, ever since a young age, or especially more recently where there has been increased stress and so on with college, it's very common to see people, even the self, have this constant mind chattering, and it's very interesting to see how it's always there without us knowing, and it can be annoying. So I'm curious as to what he has to say, and let's see if he has a secret to getting out of it.
Thoughtlessness, no mind, these kinds of terms have been propagated all over the place. And these terms have been badly misunderstood and made into all kinds of things, and people are striving how to stop my mind. It took millions of years of evolution to get a mind of this kind of capability.
Also, have to really mention how the clarity of the words that he says and the way he talks is just really calming, but also very powerful. He says it very slow, nice and evenly paced. I mean, it really just goes to show how conscious he is when he talks, and something we should all learn from. So yeah, with that, we'll continue.
Isn't it? Millions of years of tremendous amount of nature's work, that today you have a mind of this kind of scope. And now you want to stop it. Why is it that you want to stop it? If your mind was constantly producing absolute pleasantness for you, would you think how to stop this mind? Would you?
Gonna respond to that question that he had. I'm not sure it's rhetorical or not. But to be honest, I would say if it was always pleasant, why would I want the mind to stop? No. So I think I agree with that.
No. It's producing a lot of unpleasantness. That's why you're thinking of how to stop the mind. This is the first thing. Wherever you go in the world, this has gone so much into people's mind. If you tell them you meditate, they say, "But Sadhguru, I'm not able to stop my mind."
I get that too.
I said that
I get
will
that
happen
too.
only after you stop your kidney.
As a meditation coach, I myself have taught many people how to meditate, and a question that I get asked all the time is the exact same thing, which is, I can't stop thinking. And let's see what else he has to say.
Liver, heart. You stop all these things, then the mind will also stop. Do you want it to stop? No. Then why do you want the mind to stop? Why do you have such a horrible prejudice against the mind?
Yes, all about that prejudice. Really fascinating how he connects the thinking of the mind to, for example, the heartbeat, to the kidneys, and all these other bodily functions that are vital to the human body. So far what I'm understanding out of what he's saying is to not discriminate between all these different functions, and to not judge any of that as good or bad.
You don't mind if your heart is beating, you can meditate. You don't mind if your liver is working, you can meditate. Your kidneys are functioning, you can meditate. If your brain functions, you can't meditate, what is the problem? You seem to have something against intelligence. isn't it?
Against intelligence.
This is the conspiracy of the stupid against human intelligence, that to meditate means your brain must be frozen. No. You don't have to freeze your brain. We were looking at this yesterday itself. We will initiate you into Shambhavi. It's a simple process. There are many ways to do it. This is one simple way. But it's a powerful process. If you sit here, you will see your body is here, your mind is somewhere.
By the way, when he's talking about Shambhavi, what he's referring to is a special form of meditation that you have to get initiated into through one of the Isha programs that he hosts and runs. And yeah, that's just a very high level gist of what Isha meditation is in terms of Shambhavi. And yeah, we'll continue.
Who you are is somewhere else. Once there is a space between you and the mind, then what the mind is not doing, what the mind is doing is not even an issue. It is like you're stuck in the traffic jam. You're struggling through the traffic. That's one experience. Suppose you're either standing on Chamundi Hill or you're floating in a hot air balloon and look down at all the traffic. Very peacefully.
Valid.
Traffic.
Valid.
Why? There's a distance, isn't it? When you're in it, traffic is a different experience. From really high up there, sitting in a hot air balloon, you look down, you can't even hear the sounds. Looks wonderful, traffic, isn't it? Yes or no?
That's an interesting analogy.
Because
of
there's
traffic.
a distance. So once there's a distance between you and your mind's activity, mind is not a problem. Mind is a miracle, it is not a problem. And anyway…
It's all about perspective. So far what I'm understanding is just like all these other bodily functions and tools that we have, even technology for a matter of fact, it's all just a tool that you can be used for good or bad. But what's important from what he's emphasizing is to be detached, not to be identified with the mind, because that in turn will lead to a path where the intelligence will work against you, and when you're detached, you'll have the control over it.
If thoughts are going continuously, if you're having a mental diarrhea,
Mental diarrhea.
obviously you ate some bad food, isn't it? Yes. If you're having a physical diarrhea, you ate some bad food, isn't it? If you're having a mental diarrhea, you are obviously consumed something wrong. What this wrong thing could be is, the moment you identify yourself with something that you're not, then you're finished. Your mind is a continuous runs. There is no other way. Do what you want, try as hard as you want, it is not going to stop. If you do not identify yourself with anything that you are not, you know how to be with everything, you know how to use everything, but you're not identified with it, then you will see if you sit here, simply mind will be like this. You want to use it, you can use it, otherwise it'll be like this. Right now your hands are like this, or you're holding it tied up because it'll go all over, is it? No. You can keep it like this. You can keep it like this, you can keep it like this. When you want to use it, you can use it. So it's a useful instrument. Suppose your hands become like this. Some people have become like this.
Facts.
Yes or no? If it becomes like this, you will become ridiculous, isn't it? If it happens to your mind, also you're equally ridiculous. It is just that you are living in the comfort that nobody else can see it. But people can see it. They watch you closely enough, they can see it, isn't it? And whether they can see it or not, that's not the point. The point is, the most important faculty of your life is out of control. Doesn't matter whether they can see it or not, that's not the issue. The issue is, the most important faculty in your life is out of control, doing its own rubbish all the time, not doing what you want it to do. So, if you have to be freed from this ailment, you should stop eating bad food. Wrong food or bad food means you are identifying yourself with things that you are not.
Okay.
If you sit here, if you're not identified with this and with this, then you will see everything is just fine. Then your mind will do what you want it to do. Otherwise, it'll simply hang there, and that's how it should be. Mind should not be telling its own stories all the time. It should tell the story that you want it to tell, isn't it?
Agree.
Otherwise, it's quite a nuisance.
Very much so. Wow, so that was very interesting. What I've learned so far in general with Sadhguru's videos, and especially this one, is the idea that Sadhguru himself doesn't actually give you answers. He really just gives you general guidelines and directions, and it really comes down to the inner exploration. He wants you to explore these ideas on the own. And so the interpretation that I have of this video right now is really just coming down to the concept of detachment and not identifying with anything. So whether this be your mind, your body, your feelings, your thoughts, whatever comes the way, it's very important to not identify with these things. And even if they do come in a very unpleasant way, it really comes down to, like you said, the food that you're eating. I mean, you can take that literal as just the real food that you eat, whether it's the unhealthy food or let's say the unhealthy habits that you have. But even just in general, just like negative thoughts or negative feelings or unpleasant feelings, those are all the foods that you eat and you consume. And how do we consume that? It really comes down to what we get exposed to. I mean, a lot of the thoughts that we have, we think are from us. But no, as Sadhguru said in actually many other videos, it's really just recycled information. It's the five senses that pick up these things and then think that it's us and then identify with it, and that's what leads to destruction, as he mentioned. So overall, I would say it was a really, really solid video, and the takeaway I had was to, one, don't identify with anything, and two, stop eating bad food.